If humanity were ever invaded by hostile aliens, surely we primitive humans would fail, right? Not necessarily. Now, yes, if the aliens had the capability to wipe us out with the touch of a button or had access to some sort of planet ending weapon, we would obviously fail. But what if it was a struggle? What if it was a slow and grueling battle? It would be naive to count us out. Humans, just like all of Earth's life forms, were forged by adversity in the crucibles of evolution. We were literally made to overcome. Disease, unstable climates, famine, natural disasters, vicious animals, war. Life on Earth has always been a battle. To cope as best we can, we bond together. We instinctively realize that we are stronger as one. In our distant past, hunters and gatherers in physical proximity bonded and united against other nearby hunter gatherer groups. Those groups over time extended their circles, with the hopes again of being able to withstand threats from bigger groups. Small groups became villages, which became cities and states, which eventually became countries. Threats of danger force individuals to form groups for protection. The age old united we stand, divided we fall is literally hardwired into our biology. I remember 9/11. I was only 10 years old, but I remember. I remember that everyone I knew, my parents, friends, neighbors, and my fifth grade teacher, couldn't stop watching the footage and coverage on TV. It plagued my family's TV screen for weeks. I remember the patriotism. We didn't need President Bush to tell us to unite. Americans from all walks of life knew what had to be done intrinsically. It was like a switch was flipped within us. Our previous divisions, like race, religion, creed, political orientations, among others, were seemingly forgotten overnight. So each of us extended our circles. Liberals embraced conservatives. The rich stopped looking down on the poor. Okay, maybe not totally, but these divides really seem to have been put on the back burner. Congress set aside their usual partisan battles. Just like the hunter gatherer groups of the distant past, we sensed a greater common threat. And when a threat is perceived, our productivity skyrockets. In response to the attacks, Congress greenlit 48 pieces of legislation, created hundreds of government organizations, mobilized troops for a war against Al Qaeda and the Taliban, and spent hundreds of billions on homeland security. Millions of citizens donated blood, and thousands more signed up for the armed forces. Going back a bit further was the bombing of Pearl Harbor. Before 1941, public opinion in America had been moving toward entering the war, but significant opposition remained. On September 6, 1939, just a few days after Nazi Germany invaded Poland, a Gallup poll asked Americans that if it looked like England and France would be defeated by Germany in the next several months, should America enter the war? 42% said yes and 48% said no. As Germany conquered France and appeared untouchable, this number slowly changed over the following months, with more in favor, but still, unanimity wasn't achieved until much later. A Gallup poll on December 10, 1941, a few days after the Pearl Harbor bombing and a day before Germany declared war on the US, found that 90% of respondents agreed with the question, should President Roosevelt have asked Congress to declare war on Germany as well as on Japan, with 7% opposed. After the German declaration of war, the US counter-declaration was unanimous. So what happened here? Why the big uptick? It's because we were attacked. We felt danger. Once again, we intrinsically felt the need to be unanimous, to be aligned, to be one. So we decided to be. During the war, some reports indicate as many as 17 million new civilian jobs were created. Industrial productivity soared 96%, and corporate profits after taxes doubled. The war helped slam the door on the Great Depression and helped bring about the economic prosperity the country experienced in the 1950s. Wages and savings increased during the war. Like 9/11, social divides eased, with women entering the workforce at unprecedented levels with little resistance. Everyone was in alignment, and it was key to our success. Here's another interesting note. In World War II England, during the height of the Blitzkrieg bombings from the Nazis, mental health actually improved. Before the war, projections for psychiatric breakdown in England ran as high as 4 million people. But as the Blitz progressed, psychiatric hospitals around the country saw admissions go down. Psychiatrists watched in puzzlement as long-standing patients saw their symptoms subside during the period of intense air raids. Voluntary admissions to psychiatric wards noticeably declined, and even epileptics reported having fewer seizures. Chronic narcotics of peacetime now drove ambulances, one doctor remarked. Another ventured to suggest that some people actually did better during wartime. So, what's my point with all of this? It's that when we're faced with a clear and common threat, we're not only more productive and more aligned in our goals, we're also happier and more motivated. When people are under severe threat, time cannot afford to be wasted on trivialities and petty squabble. With survival at the forefront, decades long issues and hardships have the potential to disappear literally overnight. Okay, but now, let's get back to the point. Hostile aliens. An obvious threat that makes the entire world quiver. Again, just like the hunter-gatherer groups of the past, and just like American citizens after 9/11 and the Pearl Harbor bombings, unity would be all but forced. As a result, productivity and economic health would improve, as well as mental health, driven by an increased sense of belonging and purpose. What's more is that without aliens, or without a greater common threat, there is no reason for the countries of the world to unite. Our differences will simply continue to remain at the forefront, with unity forever exceeding our grasp. The only reason people ever team up is to overcome an obvious common threat. If people do not need to unite, why would they? When alliances are made, they're formed with a clear purpose, with that purpose usually being some sort of specific mutual gain or to better withstand potential threats from an outside party. If we didn't need to align, we wouldn't go out of our way to do it. If unity was optimal in a time of peace, the countries of the world surely would have united already. Without a trigger, or without a 9/11, or a Pearl Harbor, or the sinking of the Lusitania, unity would seem counterproductive. Humans not under threat do not have the capacity nor required motivation to align. But if humans need to unite, they will. World unity or globalism, or however you want to refer to it, is impossible without a greater common threat. In a way, you can view it like this. Humans need adversity, because without it, we cannot unite. Danger is required for unity. So if aliens come to Earth and they want to conquer us, they'd be wiser to keep us divided, because you never know what human beings could achieve with total unity. Thanks for watching.